Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldo here, and I have decided to make the tier list for Just 2 Mobile at the start of every month. And I'm going to make it from 0 to 100 each time, because of the fact that while I could do tier list updates, the people that watch the tier list updates are not likely to watch all the way back, and if we get to like 10 tier list updates, they would have to watch it back like 10 episodes, and that's just not relatable. So we will take a look at the entire tier list. There have been a few changes since the last tier list update, and I have also added another tier, the SS tier, which will be higher than the S tier, because there were a lot of characters in the S tier, but not each one of them were as strong or close to as strong as the other. So yeah, we made as well the SS tier. And a little bit of modifications down the tier, though we'll get into that. For those of you unaware what a tier list is, it's going to be a list starting from the F tier all the way to the SS tier. It will go like F, E, D, C, B, A, S, S, S. F being the worst and SS being the best. So we will go over each tier and I will explain why each character is going to be placed in their specific place. So yeah, this is going to be a long one. Grab some popcorn, sit down, relax. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, dislike it if you dislike it, maybe hit the subscribe button, and let's get into it. And also, before getting into the tier list, we will try to establish some criteria. When putting this tier list together, I'll keep in mind a few things. How useful a character is in Arena, in Champions Arena, in Raids and in Soul Raids. I will count all the game modes because they are all game modes that exist and affect the usefulness of a character. And at the same time, I will also take into consideration how useful a character is and in how many teams can be used. And I will not think about facts like how much damage this character can do. If a character is in a team that can do much damage, then the character that makes the team that deals much damage work is going to be, for me, at least as valuable as the damage dealer. So that is how I'm going to proceed forward with this list. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start off from the bottom with the F tier. In F tier, I'm going to have 5 characters. We're going to have Cheetah, we're going to have Enraged Bane, we're going to have Sonic Black Canary, we're going to have both Catwomans, the Master Thief Catwoman and the Silver Catwoman. So why are those characters in the F tier? Because in other tiers I'm going to talk about each one of the characters, but all those characters over here can be talked all at the time because it's a very simple matter. They don't do anything, they don't provide anything, their abilities are bland. I think the Catwomans have some dot damage on their abilities, though that's not enough of a redeemable factor, and their passives are going to be useless in combat. Let's take the passives one by one. For Cheetah, the passive will grant her armor piercing after using a special attack, but yet none of her special attacks can be chained into a basic combo. So by the time your duration of armor piercing will be at half or less than half, you will be finally able to use basic attacks, so that's not practical. Next up, Bane. When he gets hit with an ability, he gets unblockable for a certain duration, which is totally useless because of the fact that if you do block an ability, you will be able to chain a combo after you blocked an ability. So this passive is doing literally nothing for him. Sonic Black Canary is going to disable the enemy's block after using special attack. And that's useless because of the fact that the enemy does not need to block you, he needs to hit before you, and he will do that because he's got a little bit of a frame advantage, so 100% useless. And the Catwomans are going to boost your progress through the operations, give you a little bit more credits, but that's totally useless because you are going to put various characters in the operations for the purpose of leveling those characters up. So yeah, this is the F tier list. Those are going to be totally and utterly useless characters. With all that being said, let's get into the E tier. Now starting with the E tier, over here we are going to have still pretty crappy characters, but the difference between the F tier is that their passives do something. They do something. They don't do something good, but they do something, and something is better than nothing. First up, Blade Master Robin. When he begins his combo, he's going to start from 7 hits or something like that. That's decent, I guess, but only applies if you have zero combo when you tag him in. So if you have, it does not stack upon a combo that's already started, and that it does not count for much. He's got a stun on his abilities, I guess, but for me, he will not be able to be higher than E tier. Silver Deadshot will give you some critical attack chance, I guess, though it's a pretty low amount, and I think he gets more damage based on the distance he's from the enemy, or that was just for the gold Deadshot. I'm not sure though. He doesn't do much, but he does something. Harley Quinn will increase your attack by a little bit and at the same time give you some damage on the swipe attacks. That's decent, I guess, and she might have scored one tier higher for this passive alone, but we have Bane and we have Shazam that do her job far better than she does. We have Joker. Joker will stun the enemy if he dies, and he needs to die in order to trigger his passive. And yeah, that's pretty bad, but it's something. It does something, okay? Next up will be Black Canary, silver variant. I don't even honestly remember everything her passive does. I think she deals increased damage on Festacus and she buffs the silver green arrow. And if we take a look at them together, they might have scored a little bit higher, but alone she is not great. But hey, her passive does something. Now getting into the Swamp Thing, boys. Don't lie to me. When you saw that Swamp Thing was not in the F tier, you thought that I would meme you and put him in the highest tier? No. There's a time for jokes and there's time to be serious, and I'm going to be fair with Swamp Thing. His passive does something. He has been notorious so far for being the only character in the game that sometimes can't even chain the full combo properly and he gets interrupted. But as far as I'm aware, that has been fixed. And with that fixed, they are still bad characters. They are still very bad characters, but their passive do something. The passive of Silver Swamp Thing heals him, and the passive of Gold Swamp Thing will revive him upon death. Don't get me wrong, still terrible characters, but they do something. Next up we'll have Silver Scarecrow. His passive pulls the enemy, has a chance to pull the enemy back in the fight and stun them if they tag out. So yeah, he kind of does something. And next up, Unhinged Harley Quinn. When she kills an enemy, she will be able to take control of that enemy. And that's bad. Like, if you are going to kill an enemy, then if you're going to be able to kill an enemy, then why would you want to take control of him? Because if you're going to kill an enemy, then most likely that enemy will be stronger than you. So yeah, pretty useless passive, but at least it does something. Yeah, this was it for the F tier. They are just a slight bit away from being for the E tier. They are just a slight bit away from being in the F tier, but they kind of do something, I guess. Okay, so let's get into the D tier. Getting into the D tier, I want to state the fact that I have come to the conclusion that a character that has a shield ability is going to be D tier by default, because the shield ability will be pretty damn good no matter what character is in. So yeah, first of all we got the Amazonian Wire or something like that, Wonder Woman. She's going to be D tier because she has a shield. Other than that, she does nothing. Next in the D tier we could have Blue Beetle. You could argue for Blue Beetle being higher, but he's just average in Arena and he has no utilization other than that. Next up, Firestorm. He's all the way up here because he has a passive that increases the dot resistance. And yeah, that's not great. That's not great at all, but at least it's something. Next up, it's Powered Supergirl. She has a passive, I guess, that does something. It's not much. It makes her have a chance to use the special one for free, and special one is dot damage. So yeah, she is able to be in the D tier. Maybe could have put her in the E tier, but yeah, there's where she is. Next up, we're going to have Green Arrow, and Green Arrow is not a terrible character. He's able to power drain with his special one. He gets buffed if he's paired up with Silver White Canary, but the problem with this is the fact that I don't care about the fact that he power drains, because we'll have a variant of Green Arrow that is higher on this list that can do that and far better. Next up, Silver Gorilla Grodd. He has a shield, and I said if they have a shield they are by default at least D tier, and he's also a Gorilla Grodd character, so he's able to do the infinite combo. Solstice Dr. Fate, he kind of has a passive that makes him swap the health with the enemy before using super move. So yeah, I guess this strategy works well in the arena and Champions Arena. You let the enemy almost kill you, then use the super move, you swap the health to kill him. It's okay, it can be far better. Next up will be Silver Wonder Woman. she has a shield, that's pretty much about it. And next up will be Unbreakable Cyborg, and in the past I have put him in the F tier or E tier, but he deserves a little bit of a higher tier. While he is by far the worst cyborg character and he is not used for much other than a mediocre performance in Arena and Champions Arena, he is going to be able to have a stun, a power drain, and revive upon death. So yeah, he's all the way into D tier. This was everything about D tier. Still terrible characters that you shouldn't build, but they are not the worst. They are not literally the worst characters in the game. They are still bad though, so don't go near them. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the C tier. Okay, now we have the C tier. In C tier we will not have that many characters. Those are just characters that I couldn't really find a reason to put into B tier. I couldn't find a reason to give them a higher tier. Those characters in C tier, some of them might be good in some specific scenarios, others might be good just to have in your roster, but overall they are characters you could more or less live without. First of all, we have the Batman Harley Quinn. Batman Harley Quinn, if you are to use her as a character, considering that to make her work properly you will need to waste Batman Robin and Batman Gorilla Grodd that could be used in far better teams. So considering that to only have her work you need to do that, she's going to be an average character, and the fact that you need to waste two good characters will get her all the way to C tier, but having her in your roster will benefit you in terms of her passively buffing the attack and health of Batman characters just by being in your roster. So yeah, more or less same deal with Batman. He's got a decent and a fun special one, but other than that, he's in my opinion hands down the worst Batman character that you shouldn't really waste the Batman Ninja team on. Next up we're going to have Captain Colt. Captain Colt doesn't do much, that's his only problem. He's able to lock the abilities, one ability of the enemy that's tagged in. He has a power slow, I think, not even a power drain as far as I'm aware, and he does something like decreasing the critical damage or the armor piercing damage that your team receives. I'm not even sure, but the thing is that he is decent but not decent enough to be used, and almost nobody uses him. I have seen some people try him in raids and he's able to one-shot stuff in tier 6, but yet again everybody's able to do that. Next character will be Classic Batman, and Classic Batman is going to be all the way up here. I personally don't like him at all as a standalone character, and I haven't seen anybody that can really make him work, but at the same time, by having him in your roster you can passively buff other Batmans that are in your roster already, and considering the fact that the other Batmans are going to be pretty damn decent characters, he is going to be in the C tier just because he passively buffs them. Next up we're going to have Dark Supergirl. Dark Supergirl on paper looks like a very damn good character. She gets maximum critical attack chance when she interrupts an enemy special by tagging. And that thing is very well done, for example, with Multiverse Supergirl. Because when Multiverse Supergirl does that, she can chain it into a combo and then into a special attack. But Dark Supergirl, unfortunately, was the earlier design of that concept, and it didn't go very well. Because when you tag in that animation where you stop the enemy's ability, will knock the enemy away and prevent you from being able to straight away do a combo on him or an ability. And in most scenarios you will have to take risks to even make use of that buff that she gets on tagging before it expires. So yeah, a very interesting concept that led to a far better character afterwards, but unfortunately she is the first attempt to that kind of character, and she is kind of a failed attempt, unfortunately. Though she can work as a decent character if you really want to build her, though I wouldn't build her myself. Next up we have Justice League Batman, most likely the most controversial pick for this tier. And yeah, he sucks in my opinion, he sucks big time. Like yes, a very good thing about Justice League Batman is the fact that he is able to kind of give shields to the Justice League characters that prevent them from taking any damage from the first ability that is used on them. They basically ignore it like Armor Superman does. But other than that, you can only use him as a support character for that. You can't use him as a fighter because of the fact that his abilities don't do anything, let's get that straight out of the way. And the other problem is that he's got bad basic attacks. He's got bad basic attacks to the extent where if you finish your combo normally, like tapping 3 times, swiping right, tapping 3 times, swiping right, If you want to tag in another character, most likely the combo will fail because his swipe right attack animation is low and the enemy will not be staggered by the time you tag in again. So yeah, basically by using Justice League Superman, Justice League Batman, you'll not be able to use him in a fight because you can't chain properly basic attacks into tagging combos, and not being able to do that in a Justice League team is going to pretty much suck. So yeah, as a support character, you can use him in Arena and Champions Arena. Don't want to see him anywhere near some raids and soul raid teams. Next up, we are going to have Telekinetic Gorilla Grodd. Well, it's got a shield and it's got a passive that pulls the enemy back in the fight and damages it when it tries to tag out. That makes it a pretty decent character for Arena and Champions Arena. As I said, having a shield is D tier by default, and this character has something additional, I guess, so let's leave it in C tier. Same with the Warrior Queen Wonder Woman. Her passive sucks, let's get that straight out of the way, but she's got armor piercing on a special one and shield, and since shield is going to be D tier by default, that armor piercing on a special one will get her up all the way to C tier. So yeah, C tier is full of characters that you could use, but you shouldn't really use because of various reasons. With all that being said, let's move on to the B tier. Okay, we have arrived at B tier, and goddamn, this one's big. I haven't edited the video yet, but I think I'll have to crop it and put half of it below the first half. Yeah, that's most likely what you're seeing on the screen right now. So this tier is one of a few things. In this tier, where they have characters that are just a little bit above average, but not good enough to make it to the higher tiers. Characters that are very good, but only in some very specific scenarios, and other than that, they don't do that much. And we will have some tanks. Tanks that are not the best tanks in the game, they are good tanks. But unfortunately, tanks don't really have an established role in the game, and they are not very necessary characters. So that's going to downgrade them a little bit. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get into each character. Ace Green Arrow. Ace Green Arrow is going to be a great character if you want to hit phase 4 with any team, because he's got power drain, and when he tags out, he will power lock the enemy, meaning that the enemy will not be able to gain power for a certain duration. He's great for phase 4, he was great for the boss Darkseid, and maybe he will be needed in the future. He's a very, very good pick if you must power drain your enemy. But other than that, he does not do much other than power drain. He's very good at that, don't get me wrong, but it's too situational of a thing to give him a higher tier. Next up is good old Armored Superman, a character that most likely everybody has from the achievements. I'm sure everybody has it from the achievements. If you don't have Armored Superman yet, then you will unlock him soon enough. And he's going to be basically the definition of the a little bit above average character. He's got a shield that he can use, he's got some dot damage on his special one, and at the same time he will be able to ignore the first ability that is used on him and give your team some defense. The definition of an above average character, and he is a tank. And while tanks are going to be pretty good in Arena and Champions Arena, they are not that needed in raids and soul raids, so yeah, just B tier for my boy Superman. I really enjoy the character, fluid combos, fluid everything, but I can't do higher. Next up, we're going to have Atrocitus. First of all, I wanted to put Atrocitus a little bit higher on the list. But I have decided to give him B tier because he's not needed anywhere. Like, Atrocitus is going to be a great character with a great passive. He will provide huge buffs for the team that you are currently using, giving them either lethal, either a reflective shield, or either still powerful on the enemy. And that's great, don't get me wrong, but so far there's absolutely no team in the game in terms of arena rates, soul rates, or champions arena that has Atrocitus must have on it. All the teams are going to have Atrocitus like a filler character. Like, if you need to, if you are missing a key component on a team, stick Atrocitus in, you're going to be fine. But if you have that specific team correctly and most optimally, then Atrocitus has no place in it. And that's why he's only B tier. And if I use him more, I might have given him A tier. I'm not sure how he performs as a standalone character, but he doesn't look that promising for me to do anything more for him for now. But yeah, if you wanted to put Atrocitus in A tier, I couldn't really argue with you. Next up, we're going to have Silver Bane. Silver Bane is going to give critical attack chance and critical and attack, not attack, damage on basic attacks, excuse me. So critical attack chance and damage on basic attacks to your team. And that's going to be a very versatile bonus and a very great bonus. You can stick him in any team and he'll be useful. except for maxed out teams, and that's why he's so low. First of all, he's not the best support for any team in the game. Yet again, if you are missing a support character, then you can stick Bane in, but the most optimal teams do not have Bane in them. That's the first thing. And the second thing is the fact that most characters that need critical attack damage, with a perfect build, they'll have max or very close to maximum critical attack chance. So the fact that he gives critical attack chance will be useful only for unoptimized characters. If you get the character to the max level of optimization, then Bane is not going to be able to help you with much. Next up, we're going to have Batman or Joker. Batman or Joker is going to be a pretty niche pick, and you can build him as a damage dealer, and he can actually at some points deal more damage than Batman Ninja Catwoman if you pair him up with Batman Robin and Batman Gorilla Grodd, but he's so low on this list because he's just the unoptimal option, because unlike Batman Ninja Catwoman, he will not be able to hit a lot of faces like Horrific Scarecrow, and he will not be able to perform as well as her in Arena and Champions Arena. And while he's a very fun character to play, some of the most fluid basic attacks I have seen and some of the most satisfying special attacks and attacks I have seen in the entire game, he's something that you'll build to have fun, and is something that will perform well for you while you build it to have fun, but it's not the best thing you can build for that specific team. Next up, we're going to have Brainiac. And I know some of you guys really hate Brainiac, but because many people got him as their first legendary, and he was free, and he was their first legendary that came with gears, and they're like, let's build him, he's a legendary, and he performed like crap. And yeah, Brainiac as a standalone character is crap, but the thing is, he is not built for that. He's not made for that. He's made to be a support for other legendary characters. And he will be a must-have support for Black Manta, and Black Manta is the best character that you can have in this game. And because of the fact that he's a must-have support for Black Manta, he is very good at one specific thing and crap at other things, but very, very good at supporting Black Manta, so that's why he will be in the B tier. Next up in the B tier, we have a classic Superman. He is used to reduce the defense with his special 2 against bosses in raids, against sub-bosses, and he's also used for that in solo raids, and he can deal some decent damage with his special 3, I guess. In previous tiers, I would have put him in the A tier, but he's starting to come out of favor as people are going to use the Radiant. I think the Radiant is the one, which is an artifact that will decrease the defense of the enemy for a limited amount of time when you do a swipe right. So basically now you equip the new artifact on the combo builder, and you don't have to waste a slot on your team for the classic Superman. So yeah, he has a very niche application that is starting to be a little bit replaced by the new artifact, but other than that, he's a great character. Next up, we're going to have Emerald Green Lantern. Emerald Green Lantern is going to be a pretty well-rounded character. Close to decent damage in raids, very good in Arena and Champions Arena. He's got a very strong shield, not shield like other characters, but a defense buff, a damage reduction buff that he applies to himself. And also he provides bonuses when you tag in and out. His bonuses are going to be decent but weaker than the Atrocitus passive, but at the same time he will be better himself in combat than Atrocitus. So yeah, same tier as Atrocitus. Not the best character you can have in any team, but a good replacement for characters that you are missing in any team. Next up will be Greed. Greed is going to be a character designed to counter the Justice League team. He will disable the passive of an enemy cyborg, and that's pretty decent when you're fighting Justice League teams, but only for that very niche performance. And when he receives damage from basic attacks that is higher than a certain percentage of his health, he will get a pretty damn decent shield. So yeah, he's the best character that you can use against a Justice League team, and a niche tank that you can use here and there, but other than that, nothing more than that. Next up, Horrific Scarecrow, exactly the same deal as Atrocitus and Emerald Green Lantern. He's going to have a passive that increases the cost of the abilities that your enemies will use on you. And while that is good, that is universally good, there's no team in this game that will not benefit from that. In 99% of the scenarios, he's not the best thing you can put in that team. So while he is a great filler support that you can put in any team that you're missing a character or that you are unsure what other character to put, he is not the best pick for anybody. Next up we'll have Multiverse Captain Colt. Maybe he could have been at A tier, but I'm going to leave him at B tier for now. He's very good because of the fact that he provides a passive buff of resistance to armor piercing attacks for the Multiverse team. Not sure if armor piercing or critical attacks. I think it's armor piercing. I'm pretty sure it's armor piercing attacks. And himself is going to provide a shield that decreases the damage received from basic attacks for the duration of the fight when the fight starts. And that's going to be pretty decent, I guess. He's nothing to brag about. He's definitely not on top 4 multiverse characters, but he's close behind. Next up, we're going to have Multiverse Supergirl. She provides some passive defense for the multiverse team. She provides defense reduction for the multiverse team when they are low on health, though that sometimes does not work. She is going to deal dot damage with her special 1, and she's going to also freeze with a special 2. Freeze is a very powerful thing in the game, and very few characters have it, because freeze is like a stun that is not subject to stun resistance. And if you pair her up with a power reduction character, you can just freeze your opponent in Arena and Champions Arena endlessly. She's not going to have an use in raids, but she's a pretty decent all-around character. Next up, a character that I shit on previously, but right now it seems a little bit more decent, is going to be Multiverse White Canary. Multiverse White Canary's passive will be useless for the most part, because it will increase the critical attack chance, basically, by increasing the critical attack chance that you have on your 5th gear. And at the same time, she will make you have a chance to use the special 1 for no cost, but that's pretty much useless because of the fact that the special 1 is going to be cheap enough and it's only going to be active for multiverse teammates. But recently, she disables the abilities of the opponent on a special tree, and her special tree is pretty high damage, so she's a decent damage dealer. But recently, with the new artifact, the rod, the electro rod, the rod thingy of the new apocalypse artifacts, you know what I mean. I really have troubles learning the names of the new artifacts, I'm sorry. But if you equip the rod on her, you can actually use her as somewhat of a tank in phase 3 and hold her in the power drain, because she will gain power from the power drain and drain Brainiac, and you can use her special tree to disable Brainiac's abilities and use Silver Bench for special tree for huge amounts of damage. So that's a new use of her. We will see how things evolve. For now, B tier, maybe even C tier, I don't know. I'll leave it here for now. Next up, Multiverse Batwoman. Multiverse Batwoman will be useless for other multiverse characters other than herself. And when she buffs herself, she can deal some pretty decent amounts of damage. The only thing that's holding her back is the fact that she's not the best damage dealer from the multiverse team. And what she does best is damage dealing. So yeah, a second option basically. Next up, we're going to have Mythic Wonder Woman, and hold on, let me explain this, because I know a lot of you guys love Mythic Wonder Woman, and she is, to be fair, the best Wonder Woman character that we got, but that does not make her a good character, because of two things. First of all, she does not buff the Justice League team, she just receives buffs from the Justice League team. So while you could put her in a Justice League team as a damage dealer, if you were to, and most likely you are going to put her instead of either Aquaman or Flash, if you are going to put her out and put back the character you subtracted with her, then you are going to perform much better, because all the 3 characters will buff each other. And other than that, even if you decide to put her in a Justice League team and get one of the characters out, maybe Flash because he's needed in other teams, you're still not very good to go, because of the fact that right now the best artifact will be the All Blades, and in order to utilize the All Blades you need to tag in and out very quickly. And you'll need most likely to use double the All Blades on 2 Justice League member characters, and that's all good. You do a basic combo, you tag in, you do a basic combo, you tag in with another character, but the problem is, the very big problem is, same as with Justice League Batman. Her basic attacks, even though they are very smooth when you execute them, the finisher is going to be crap because it takes a lot of time, the finisher basic attack, and most of your tag-ins that are from a swipe right of Mythic Wonder Woman will result in an interrupted tag-in. And that's something that you simply cannot have in the Justice League team, unfortunately. So while she might have some decent uses with that passive that increases damage when a character dies in Champions Arena or Arena, I really don't like her as a character just because of the fact that she does not fit well in Justice League team. Like, if they could fix the delay on her swipe right and you could tag in properly, easily A tier, but for now only B tier, unfortunately. Next up we have Nightwing. He's like the definition of an above average characters. He does a little bit of everything but not much to a very great extent. He generates power by blocking and that makes him a decent combo builder, I guess. At the same time he can stun with basic attacks, he can power drain with basic attacks, he can crit without having crit on his build with basic attacks. But he has not seen much play as a most optimal pick for any team. It's a niche pick that some people use here and there, but other than that, not a character that you should rush towards building. Next up is going to be Red Hood, and he's going to be very good at something, at some specific something, but other than that he's going to be crap. He's going to be very good at extending the duration of the fight when you're using the multiverse team. So Red Hood has a super move that is going to extend the duration of the fight by a certain amount of seconds after you use it, and is going to give you some resistances. You will use that in the Multiverse team alongside with Multiverse the Flash and Multiverse Armored Supergirl when fighting Captain Colt. But other than that, he's going to be just average or below average in other teams that you put him in. So he's very good at that. He's the best choice for that. Actually, the best choice for that, it might be Shazam, but people need Shazam to deal damage in other places. But yeah, anyway, he's the most used in that team, other than that, not really much, so can't get him higher. Next up, we're going to have Silver Cyborg. Silver Cyborg's got a power drain. Silver Cyborg has got a passive, and the passive is going to be pretty damn good because he regenerates health when he's out of combat. And while I'm not a big fan of that because I want a tag that I can rely on at any point, on the other hand he will anyway stay tagged in a lot, and he can pretty much regenerate all the way to maximum health while staying out of combat, and that's pretty good. He's a solid tank, okay, but the thing is, as I have said previously, tanks are not valued that much in Ninja 2 Mobile, because while a tank will perform you better in Arena and Champions Arena, you will build characters for raids and soul raids, and those will perform above average if not great in Arena and Champions Arena. Next up is going to be Silver Aquaman. Silver Aquaman's got a power drain, and that wouldn't really be enough to put him so high, and previously I have put him much lower. But the thing is that right now he's going to be one of the greatest supports for some specific thing. Or at least he was. I'm not sure if we are going to get something like that in the new soul raids, but he was a must-have support if you wanted to fight boss last level Joker, because of the fact that he has a passive that many people don't know about, and that is going to increase the stun resistance for every might character that you have in your team. So he's a might character, Kingsland's Aquaman is a might character, Batman Jaguar Grodd is a might character. See? A team that can almost never be stunned by last level Joker, and that's a very good niche applications. Other than that, not much you can do with him. Silver Robin. He's going to be a decent silver character. He's going to be a great combo builder because of his passive, because with fast attacks you might have a chance to score 2 on the combo meter, and then when you add his passive that has a chance to double the hit counter when you use basic attacks, then you might have a chance to increase that to 4 hits, and that makes him a pretty decent combo builder. But he didn't make it higher because combo builders are not really needed that much nowadays, and on the other hand he is also not that built. Next up we will have 2 characters that I'm going to talk about each one of them. No, I'm going to talk about both of them at the same time. Suicide Squad Deadshot and Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. Those are 2 characters that will work well with Enchantress for Arena and Champions Arena. They are going to be great for Arena and Champions Arena. But there's 2 bad things about them. They suck in raids, number 1, and number 2, if you are missing one of the members in this team, they are going to suck as well. So yeah, only B tier. B tier is best I can do for those 2. Enchantress will be a higher tier, and I'll explain why when I get to that. Armored Superman, not Armored Superman, excuse me, Silver Superman. Silver Superman is going to be a character that will provide some defense to your team, and at the same time will have a chance to just ignore being hit with basic attacks, and that will not even stagger you, and you can begin a combo right after that. And that's going to be pretty decent, but yet again, tanks are not valued that high, and he's not the best tank. Next up we're going to have Starfire. Starfire is going to be a great tank because he regenerates health equal to the amount of power bars that the enemy has spent to use an ability on you. And that can at some specific points actually make her unkillable, and that's pretty funny to watch. Also with the new artifacts that we had, the meta-human ones that are going to increase the healing, that would be a lot of fun to watch, but at the end of the day this is going to be useful only in Arena and Champions Arena and useless in raids. And same with the next character that we'll have. We have Speed for the Flash. Speed for the Flash will have a chance to avoid damage when you use a swipe right or swipe left, either rushing attack or backing off, and at the same time he will give some fast attack to your team. The first passive is going to be great for Arena. The fast attack that he will give to your team makes him a very versatile character that you can basically put in any team, but at the end of the day he's not the most optimal for any team. Sub-Zero is going to be a character that you could use for fun, because he has a very fun passive and you can clone enemy characters and play with them. And it's going to be decent for Arena Champions Arena. He also has freeze, and we talk about how good freezes are, because they can't be denied by stun resistance. And at the end of the day, he's a little bit of an above average character. You can have fun with him in the Arena Champions Arena, but don't come with him near raids or solo raids. Next up, we'll have Silver Cyborg, which is the exact same thing as Speed Force the Flash. Not Silver Flash, excuse me. Dude, this one tier was very long. I'm sorry if I got things mistaken. I need to get up and turn off my air conditioning, but the remote is too far. So yeah, Silver Flash is going to be the same as Speed Force the Flash because of the fact that he provides passive fast attack to your team. But other than that, he does not do that much, and that's why he's not going to score any higher, because he's not the most optimal character. So yeah, I'm going to go turn off the air conditioning and I'll be back for the A tier. Don't go away! Okay, now, getting into the A tier, and by the way, B tier was like 20 minutes alone, so if you watched all the way until this point in the video, thank you very much and you are a champ. And in the A tier we will have characters that are one of two things. Either they are amazing in Arena and Champions Arena but suck in raids and solo raids, and or characters that are decently good in both, above average in both of them, but they're not amazing in any of them. First up, we're going to have Atlantean Armor Aquaman, the best character that a beginner can have. He has armor piercing, he has power drain, he can heal after he uses an ability. What more could you want? Well, I can tell you what more could you want from this character. Better raids performance, because unfortunately he sucks big time in raids. And that's why he's only going to be A tier. Don't get me wrong, he's amazing. He's one of the best, if not the best healer for Champions Arena. But unfortunately, he will not be that useful for you in raids or solo raids. Next up, we're going to have Darkseid. And yes, Darkseid is only A tier. And I'm sorry for that, but that's the truth. Darkseid is going to be one of the best characters in the entire game in terms of Arena and Champions Arena, but in terms of raids he sucks, and that's the truth about it. And you hear this from a man that has built Darkseid as damage dealer himself, and I can tell you, I did it. It sucks. It can one-shot stuff in tier 6, but yet again that does not say much. And because no matter how good he is in Arena and Champions Arena, I can't give him higher than A tier if he sucks in raids and solo raids, because that's two of the criteria that I kept in mind. Next up, we're going to have Flora Poison Ivy. Flora Poison Ivy is going to have armor piercing on her special 2 and will make the enemy unable to move after she uses special 2. So that makes her an amazing character for Arena. And the special 2 will be like something that comes from below the enemy, like a vine, and drills their asses. So that can't really be avoided. So yeah, an amazing character for Arena. Next up, we'll have Hellboy. A very interesting tank because of the fact that he does not take at all damage from dot, and even more he heals from dot damage that he would have taken damage from. That makes him one of the best tanks for phase 3 and any other fight that we have hazards on the ground. And other than that, he is also going to have some armor piercing on his special 3, though that does not matter that much, and he's going to get increased stats when fighting arcane opponents. So yeah, with all that being said, a very great tank for very situational things, and a decent character overall other than that. Next up, we're going to have Justice League Aquaman. Justice League Aquaman is going to be a Justice League member that's going to be very good, but he's going to be the only Justice League member that is here. You will see the other Justice League members a higher tier. He only made it over here because he does provide armor piercing on basic attacks, and that's pretty damn good. But unfortunately, the most optimal team right now, if you put the Flash in another team that's not Justice League, and you put the Justice League team together without Flash, it will be Superman, Cyborg, and the Batman to increase the passive of the Superman. So that means no Aquaman in the best Justice League team that you can do right now, but he's still a great Justice League character and a member of the OG Justice League team with Cyborg and Flash. Next up we'll have John Stewart Green Lantern, and he's a very versatile character. He can do everything from being a great tank for phase 3 because he received decreased dot damage, and he is immune and makes your team immune to secondary effects of hazards. Hazards are the debuffs that stay on the ground. Some of them deal damage and some of them have the secondary effect of power draining you. So he avoids that, and at the same time he gives you additional dodge resistance, so he's one of the best characters to use in phase 3. And other than that, he's got an armor piercing, he's got fluid combos, a very versatile character and a lot of fun to use. Next up, we have Nightmare Batman. Nightmare Batman is going to be one of the best tanks in the game because he can straight up ignore the damage from basic attacks and instead damage the enemy, reflect it back, and that's amazing. And at the same time, at the beginning of the fight, he stuns the enemy for a few seconds. Like, this is not amazing in Arena, but at the same time, this is going to be great in Champions Arena because you are going to be fighting 3 fights one after the other. And yeah, he's only 8 tier because he sucks in raids and soul raids, and that's the truth. Next up, we are going to have Black Lightning, one of the most underrated multiverse team characters because of the fact that he's going to have an armor piercing ability, being the third ability, dealing lots of damage to that. He's going to have some dot damage, he's going to be able to perform kind of an infinite combo. He's going to have a passive that increases continuously the cost of the enemy's abilities by 1 each time they are used against a multiverse character. So all around a very interesting character that I would really hope would receive much more love. I'm kind of building him myself. I haven't really invested much in him so far, but I enjoy using him. He's so fun to use. Next up, we're going to have Multiverse Green Arrow. Multiverse Green Arrow will be the best pick for the Multiverse team when they are in the arena and not in raids. And alongside Multiverse The Flash and Multiverse Armored Supergirl, he will be in one of the best arena teams that you can use. And while that, what he will do is make them have a chance to power drain the enemy on special ones, make them have increased health, and at the same time he will make them have a chance to also deal dot damage on their special trees, and that's all good. But unfortunately, he's left behind in arena because in raids they have Red Hood. Next up, the god of arena himself, Raiden. Raiden is going to be here for one thing and one thing alone, the fact that his special tree can damage the entire enemy team. And when that damages the entire enemy team, it ignores defense. So yeah, we have over here the best damage dealer for arena and one of the best damage dealers for Champions Arena. But the matter is very short and simple. He sucks in raids, or at least nobody has been able so far to use him at great capacity in raids. And that is why he will only be over here. Next up, we have the Reverse Flash. The Reverse Flash is going to be a good combo builder because of the fact that he has 3 Festacus, meaning that each time he will trigger a fast attack, he will hit 3 times instead of 2. That would be a normal fast attack for other characters. And at the same time, his passive will make him have a chance to swap power with the enemy when tags in. So how you play him, you build up a combo, tag in your damage dealer, use all your power to damage the enemy, and then tag Reverse the Flash back in and steal all the power from the enemy. It works well, but if you don't know how to use him, it can backfire. He's a great character, a great all-rounded character for many mods, but he's not higher on this list because of the fact that he's not really used that often lately. He's been replacing the Silver Banshee team with Predator Batman. Next up, we're going to have Silver Batman, and he's the definition of an above-average character in every respect. He's a decent support character because he gives critical attack chance to the team. He's pretty damn good in arena, he's pretty damn good in raids, but he's not amazing at anything. So yeah, the above average character, the definition of it, jack of all trades, almost master of everything, almost. Next up, we're going to have Silver Green Lantern, and he's going to be a great character because of the fact that he will give your team a shield equal to a percentage of their health, and while your characters have that shield, he will give it at the beginning of the battle. So while your characters do have that shield, you will not get staggered when you get damaged, so that's a very good thing to do. And a very good combo is to put it on solo raids in a team where you have the new artifacts, because the health you get from the new artifact is going to be huge, and he's going to make it even bigger. And the last one here will be Suicide Squad Enchantress. Yet again, she is going to perform very well in Arena and Champions Arena alongside with the other 2 Suicide Squad characters. She's gonna suck without them, but without them she has a niche role of removing hazards in soul raids and phase 3. So yeah, that might come in useful, and it's a little bit additional to the other 2 characters. So yeah, this was the 8-tier list. We still have 2 more to go, so stay tuned. I really hope I can finish this video today. Coming up in the S tier, we're going to have some of the best characters in the game. And there's only the SS tier buff, and in the SS tier we're going to have only 6 characters. And while the characters in the S tier are hands down the best characters in the entire game, the S tier characters are no joke, and they're going to be great characters from many points of view. First up, we're going to have Multiverse Supergirl. She's great for Arena, great for Champions Arena, great for Raids, great for Solo Raids. She's going to have a maximum critical attack chance and critical attack damage without even you having to put on her. She synergizes well with the All Blades. And she's going to provide also those buffs for the Multiverse team. She has Burning on her special one, and that's going to also make the targets susceptible to critical attack damages. So if a target is burning, even if they are immune to critical attack hits, they will take critical attack hits. And that makes it a go-to for Captain Colt in raids, and for characters that are immune to critical attack damage in solo raids. A very good character, and she's got a combo breaking, an unblockable tagging attack, and that makes her also even the more amazing. Next up in the S tier, previously put him in the A tier, but okay, I'll give him S tier. Is going to be Black Adam. He's going to be a great character for E9 Champions Arena. He has a chance to stun on tagging. He has power steal, not power drain on his special tree. And he has some other things, but those are going to be the only relevant things about him. And in terms of E9 Champions Arena, he's great. And in terms of raids and the soul raids, he's probably going to be the weakest character or the weakest member of a team that is in the S or SS tier. But he's going to hold his own at the maximum record of 18 million done in normal rates in 1 pip in tier 8 phase 4. Well, that's not going to be something amazing. It's going to be still something pretty decent that alongside his Arena and Champions Arena performance is going to be enough to put him in the S tier. The downside about him is that you are reliant on his special tree power stealing, because it's chance based, and the chance will be like 16 something %, so it's more likely to do power steal than not, but there's still a chance that you won't. Next up, we're going to have Batman Robin. Batman Robin, a must-have character in the Batman team. He's going to provide mostly increased critical attack, increased lethal attack damage for the Batman team, and at the same time he's a pretty decent standalone character himself. He's got an armor-piercing special tree and some healing on the special too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, a great standalone character and a must-have support for one of the best raid teams in the entire game. And talking about that, we are going to have Batman Catwoman, and she's going to be yet again a great character. She's going to be the go-to in terms of dealing damage with the Batman characters. She's going to have a special tree that gives her team lethal. She's going to have a special 2 that heals her. She's going to deal lots of damage, special 1 that blinds. She's going to have a passive that prevents them from dying when they reach a certain amount of health. And overall, she's going to be an amazing character. Next up, we're going to have Justice League Cyborg. Justice League Cyborg is going to be a pretty damn good damage dealer. He's going to be a must in any Justice League team because of the fact that he provides additional attack for the Justice League member. Not additional attack, excuse me, additional damage on basic attacks for the Justice League members. And that is going to be just amazing and just a must have in any damage dealing oriented Justice League team. And on top of that, he's going to be immune to stuns, and whenever he would get stunned, he's not getting stunned and he gains power instead. So that will make him very great in some specific fights. Amazing for raids and solo raids, not the best, but still amazing for raids and solo raids, and pretty good for Arena and Champions Arena. Next up, we'll have Entangling Poison Ivy. Entangling Poison Ivy will be a must-have support characters for the 2 best damage dealers in the game, that being Heartbreaker Harley Quinn and Last Level Joker. So yeah, that pretty much says it all, because on this list I do value the characters that a team can't really function without, as much as the damage dealing characters of that team. Next up, we're going to have Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. Before the soul raids, she was arguably the best damage dealer in the entire game. Now she's hands down the best damage dealer in the entire game because of the fact that she can literally hit everywhere. She's going to be able to also reflect stuns, and that can be very great in situations like when fighting boss Last Level Joker, and she will deal tremendous amounts of damage, and she's very versatile in terms of where she hits. Next up, we're going to have Justice League The Flash. Just like the Flash is a very great damage dealer if you choose yourself to use him as a damage dealer, but if you do not use him as a damage dealer, you can still use him as a support character, and that's actually the chosen place for him, because he's a great support character for stuff like Last of the Joker or Black Manta. He's more often used with Black Manta, because what his passive does is it increases the fast attacks for the team by 1. And the character that would have 2 fast attack hits now will hit 3 times instead of 2 times when they trigger a fast attack. And him himself has 3 fast attack hits by default, and just by having that specific passive he will count 4 times towards the combo meter each time he deals an attack. Next up on the list we are going to have Justice League Superman. Justice League Superman is going to be one of the best tanks, if not the best tank in the entire game. He's going to have healing on his shield. He's going to interrupt the enemy when they would do a special attack on one of your teammates and damage them by a whole lot. He's going to provide a ton of defense for Justice League teammates and legendary teammates, and he's going to receive a tremendous amount of damage or health when he's paired up with Batman characters or Wonder Woman characters. A great tank if you choose to build him as a tank, a great damage dealer if you choose him to build as a damage dealer, one of the best characters. But in my opinion, not as good for S tier, because when you build him as a damage dealer, he will do great, but he will have his limitations. Next up, Kilmflan's Aquaman. Kilmflan's Aquaman is going to only be S tier, unfortunately, because of the fact that while he performs amazingly in raids and soul raids, he performs just great in Arena and Champions Arena. Don't get me wrong, he's by all means a very good character, but he does not perform well enough in Arena and Champions Arena to be S tier. He is maybe one of the best damage dealers in terms of raids and soul raids, but the S tier characters just have that little bit of additional up to themselves, but nevertheless he is maybe the best damage dealer for raids and soul raids because of his versatility and because of the percentage damage that he deals with his special tree. Next up, Last Love the Joker. Last Love the Joker is going to be great for Arena and Champions Arena because of the fact that he is able to stun targets when they tag in on him. He will receive an increased damage for the characters that die during that fight, either be them teammates or enemies. So that makes him the best character to use against Phase 1 in normal raids because of the fact that you will get a huge boost of attack. Makes him have some very niche utilization in solo raids as well. But the bad thing is the fact that you will have to pick between Last of the Joker or Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, because of the fact that they both need Entangling Poison Ivy as support character, and because of that you'll have to pick between one of them, and unfortunately usually in solo raids you pick Heartbreaker Harley Quinn because she's able to hit much more things, but nevertheless Last of the Joker is going to be a great character. Next up, Predator Batman. Predator Batman is going to be a great damage dealer by himself. He's going to have armor piercing on special 1, being able to deal huge amounts of damage in Arena and Champions Arena. He's going to deal some pretty decent amounts of damage with his special tree, and on top of that he will be a must-have combo builder for Silver Banshee, because Silver Banshee is going to deal increased damage with her special tree if the opponent has disabled abilities, and Predator Batman is going to be able to disable them with his special 1. So yeah, you see how that goes. And talking about the Devil, Silver Banshee over here in the S tier. She's going to be decent in Arena and Champions Arena, but where she really stands is raids and soul raids, because she can easily pull above 30 million damage with her special tree if the opponent's abilities are disabled. And about her, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that I really need to say about her. She's going to be a hell of a damage dealer. Next up, we're going to have Shazam, the last character in the S tier. He is a great character. He will buff the arcane characters and the might characters, giving them increased attack. He will give some crit resistance to your entire team. He will have a special tree that heals your entire team, and that special tree can trigger for free. Overall, a great character. The only reason why he's not S tier is that he gives the attack buff only to might characters and to arcane characters, and that a little bit restricts him in terms of the teams that he can be in. So yeah, this was it for the S tier. Please don't be very sad because some characters in the S tier are not in the SS tier, because S tier is just amazing already. SS tier is just like a whole nother level. It's going to be godlike characters, and you most likely have guessed the characters already since they have not been present so far, but nevertheless, let's get into the SS tier. Okay then, the only thing that's left is going to be the SS tier. The characters over here are characters that are just better than anything else that is right now in the game. They just, for some or another reason, rise above it all. So yeah, let's go with Batman Jaguar Grodd. Batman Jaguar Grodd is a must-have member on the Batman Ninja team. So that would have landed him at least an S tier spot, and he's in the SS tier because on top of that he's going to be also able to be a great combo builder for any team because he reduces the armor of the enemy and at the same time he generates power for you. So yeah, and he can also act like a damage dealer alongside Batman Jack Catwoman, but that ties in the fact him being a must-have character in the Batman Ninja team. So yeah, overall a very good character, great damage dealer, amazing combo builder and a decent tank. SS tier, must-have character, you should get him as soon as possible, farm him from the challenges. Next up, Black Manta. And yeah, this guy is the best characters in the game, hands down. And this is not even my opinion, this is just facts. He's going to be a beast in raids because he can hit literally anywhere, like literally anywhere. If you build him right, he can hit phase 2, he can hit phase 3 with some specific teams. He can literally hit anywhere in raids and solo raids, and he deals some pretty damn decent amounts of damage. He's not going to be as much damage as Let's Savage or Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, but he's not limited to hitting in some specific place. And on top of that, he's going to be one of the best characters for Arena and Champions Arena as well, because of his passive that makes the enemy bleed. He can also stun raid bosses, he gets increased attack with every hit that he lands. He does not depend on taggings because he uses Claws of Horse, and that's also pretty good because of the unpredictable nature that raids have sometimes. He's very tough to kill, he has a lot of health. Overall, the most well-rounded and the best character in the entire game in my opinion. Next up we're going to have Dr. Fate and Power Girl. She's all the way on the right, but we'll talk about both of them at the same time. So yeah, they are going to do one simple thing. Reduce the power cost for abilities of characters by 2 power bars. And that's going to be pretty good, am I right? It's going to be pretty good for any character in the entire game. They're going to be must-have in many teams. So yeah, let's actually take a look at the teams, the characters that are in the S tier. Does Black Adam need a power reduction character? Yes. Does King of Lands Aquaman need a power reduction character? Yes. Does Silver Banshee need a power reduction character? Yes. So we already have them being needed in 3 of the teams of the S tier characters. And other than that, you can put them in literally any team in the game, and while in some teams they might not be the best option, they are going to be a good enough option. So yeah, that's why they are all the way up here, because they can be stuck into any team and they are must-have in a lot of the very strong teams in the game. Next up we'll have Arkham Knight Batman. He would be at least S tier just because of the fact that he's a teammate of Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, and he's a must-have teammate. He can stun bosses with his special 2, and on top of that he will give some very heavy buffs to armor and health for agility and tech characters, that buffing himself as well, so that makes him an amazing tank without even building him as a tank. And at the same time you will receive power generation and health each time you kill an enemy character, and that's great for Arena and Champions Arena. We have a character that is literally great, or the greatest for every single mod in the entire game, and that's Arkham Knight Batman. Next up we're going to have Multiverse the Flash. Multiverse the Flash is going to be a must-have support for the Multiverse team, giving them some insane bonuses. If this would apply to every character in the game, he would hands down, like, this is SS tier, there will be like another tier above it blank, and another tier where Multiverse the Flash would be if he gave those bonuses to every single character in the game. But unfortunately they are given only to the Multiverse teammates, and they are going to be critical attack chance, critical attack damage, and power reduction for the abilities that they are going to use. For 2 of them is going to be 2 power bars, and for another one is going to be just 1 power bar, but still amazing. And on top of that, he's going to have 3 Festacus hits, so if you don't use him for a Multiverse team, you can use him for any team as a combo builder, and he also counters the abilities of tech characters, damaging them and denying the ability. And yeah, he's an SS tier character in my opinion. So yeah, this was my tier list. Yet again, this is my personal opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Let me know down in the comments what you change about it. And with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that comment button, hit that subscribe button, maybe hit that bell button, and I'll see you